everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. My name is Will. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken KIEV. One of my favourites. Let's get started. First, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up our chicken breast. So place the palm of your hand on the top of the breast to keep it steady and cut horizontal strokes through the chicken breast. This is called butterflying. By doing it this way, you're able to fill the chicken breast with a lot more garlic butter, and at the end of the day, that's why everyone loves a chicken KIEV. But make sure when you're doing this, be careful you don't cut all the way through. So now we're going to bat the chicken breast out nice and thin in between 2 sheets of cling film, making sure you turn the breast every so often so it's got an even thickness, and also make sure you don't put a hole in the chicken breast. That bit is very important, you don't want to put a hole in it. Now you're just going to put that in the fridge while we prepare the garlic butter. Traditionally when you make garlic butter you use parsley. Today I'm using basil. Basil is such a wonderful herb. The correct way to chop basil without bruising it, to get the largest basil leaf and layer it up like a pyramid, then roll it up like a cigar like so. Make sure it's nice and tight though, and chop it as fine as you like. This is called chiffonade, a French term for fine chopping a herb. Now once it's nice and chopped, you're going to add it to your butter. Make sure the butter is nice and soft. By doing so, that will make the ingredients incorporate into the butter much easier. And one ingredient that garlic butter definitely needs is garlic. Anyway, the best way to get rid of the skin without faffing on is get the back of your knife, press down, that crushes the garlic, making it easier to release the skin. And once you've done that, you're just going to chop the root off and get rid of that as well. Now you want to finely slice the garlic. That's going to make it much easier to puree. Once it's finely sliced, you're going to sprinkle over some salt. That's going to help break the garlic down. Then get your knife and angle it about 45 degrees and press down on the garlic against the board repeatedly until you form a nice smooth paste. Now at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready to season it with some salt and pepper, as I'm using unsalted butter. But if you're using salted butter, I'll keep it easy on the salt and pepper. Once you season it, get yourself a spatula and mix it until thoroughly combined and all the ingredients are well incorporated. Now we're going to shape the butter into a log, so get yourself some wet hands. That'll make sure the butter does not stick to you. Well, it still will stick, but not as much. Make sure you don't make the butter log too big for the chicken breast, because the butter will explode out of the chicken breast if it is too big. Just to let you know, the chicken breast that I used today was enormous. Now place a sheet of cling film onto your bench. Make sure the sheet of cling film is nice and flat on the bench. That's going to make it easier to roll up. Now once the butter log is nice and firm, remove it from the fridge. Place it on top of your chicken breast with your butterfly. Place it nearest to you so you can roll it up like a burrito, like I'm doing. Making sure you tuck in the sides whilst you're going so the log is enclosed inside the chicken breast and it's nice and compact. And once you roll the chicken up into a log shape, you're going to tightly roll it up in cling film, tucking it in, making sure that no air has got inside and it's nice and tight. Once it's nice and tight, that's going to make sure it keeps its shape. Now you're going to pop it in the freezer for about half an hour to an hour to firm it up. So now while we're waiting for the chicken to firm up, we're going to be making homemade breadcrumbs. Here I've got 2 slices of frozen sourdough bread, which I've simply just toasted from frozen until nice and crispy. And I'm going to blend it in my Ninja until nice and fine. This is the first step to prepping the penne section. Next, in a bowl, pour in some flour, enough to be able to coat the chicken thoroughly, and season it with some salt and pepper. Now last but not least, in the third bowl you're going to crack 2 whole eggs in there. Try your best to not get any shell, like I did. Then you're going to season the eggs. That's going to help break down the protein in the egg white, making it a lot runnier. That's going to make it easier to properly coat the chicken. Now ladies and gentlemen, that is the penne section done. Get your chicken out the freezer, and you're going to coat the chicken in the flour first, and make sure it's nicely coated in the flour. Then once it's thoroughly coated in the flour, dip it in the egg, and make sure the chicken is thoroughly coated in the egg as well. The egg is used as a glue to help the breadcrumbs stick to the chicken. Once you've rolled it in the breadcrumbs, and if there's still some open spots, don't hesitate. Put it back in the egg, then back into the breadcrumbs. You want it all coated. Now let's move over to the stove. Here I've got a cast iron pan halfway full of oil. I've heated to 180 degrees Celsius. Now once heated, get your chicken and carefully lower it into the hot oil. Being careful that the oil does not spit back at you, because that'll be a nasty burn. The goal is to create a nice crispy exterior, nice and fast, to hopefully stop the butter from leaking out. Once it's nice and crispy, remove from the oil and let drain on some kitchen roll. Once drained, move to a tray and put in a 200-degree oven for approximately 12 minutes, or until the scent of the chicken breast registers 75 degrees Celsius. That is very important. I'll repeat, 75 degrees. If it's not 75 degrees, put it back in the oven, because that means the chicken is not cooked. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one last thing we need to do. Let's take a look at that beautiful cross section. Have a look at that. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you make the wonderful classic chicken Kiev. If you enjoyed and you love something, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.